Dungeons and Dragons is having U.S. postal stamps created. And I did a thing about postal stamps a couple of weeks ago. I was talking about how, Elvis was the very first postal stamp ever to have someone on it who wasn't, like a president or, like someone famous in the government or even something like the Washington Monument. And it was the beginning of these types of stamps that make billions of dollars for the post office. So now they have like Mickey Mouse stamps and Marvel stamps. They got everything. It's pop culture stamps, they're called. And they were the very first ones. And now it is a multi-billion-dollar business. And before that, this didn't exist until the 70s. And so when I saw this, I was thinking, that's the big time, man. You get your own stamp. And they're getting 10 stamps. And how far have we gone when in the 80s, D&D was considered devil worship to the point that Stranger Things featured it, and I remember going through it, and it's a very real thing.
Certainly, the government would never have been willing to collaborate like that at that time. There were just enough people in the government who literally thought that it was evil magic that would corrupt your soul, like for real.
It's so weird. But not only that, some of the stamps, I mean, they have a lich, okay? They have Tiamat. They have, it looks like Dritz. They have a purple worm. They have like someone on looks like a nightmare leading a legion that could be hell because it's like red on the background. So I'm like, they didn't even go with paladins, they went with kind of, even I think the stamps are a little controversial. And I mean, maybe 30 years ago.
It could have been a cute owl bear.
Right. Exactly. It is an interesting group of stamps, but I'm actually excited because what they do if you go to the post office, you can buy the stamps, but what they usually do is they also have the stamps in a placard that has extras, sometimes extra images, or sometimes the stamps go with the image around the placard, and then you can even get it framed. Look it up. You can get pretty fancy stuff because I actually have DC comic stamps, and it's not just a stamp, it's the stamp with all this comic art around it, and I've had those framed in my house for about 20 years now. So that's how they make their money, because you buy it as art, you spend 50 $100, and then you never use them, and it's pure profit. So good idea. Are you guys going to buy any D&D stamps and hang them up in your house, or no?
Kind of tempting, but I don't know. I've never I don't collect a lot of things anyway, and stamp collecting seems like an interesting way to start. So I don't know. I do have RPG books, so I guess it would kind of make sense with that, but that's about it.
I think it's I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way, if I were gonna buy these stamps, it would pretty much just be to save them as art, because we buy stamps probably once a year, maybe even less than that, because we just mail so few things.
Oh, so, wow. What a world. What a world.
Yeah.
It's like mail? What's this mail you speak of? What is this post office you speak
every
of?
Time I actually have to go to a post office for something, I feel like I have to relearn. And I would walk in there like a total idiot. I'm like, okay, I have this thing, and they're like, okay, yeah, just do this, and I'm like, all right, thank you. And that's it. It's always relatively simple. But yeah, I have to learn how to do it every time.
There is no beholder. There is a red dragon, and there is a lich. There is Tiamat. There is a purple worm. There's Dritz. It looks like there's a green copper dragon. I can't quite tell. Kind of coppery, kind of green on there, but they're nice. They're nice.
You say there's a gelatinous cube?
No, there's no gelatinous cube. There's a maze. There's someone caught in a maze. Well, the gelatinous cube would just be clear. You wouldn't see anything.
I know, it'd be hilarious.
It'd be like, where is it? It's all white.
Sure. I feel like they're always...
Do an invisible stalker stamp, and it's just a white stamp.
Yeah.
Nothing on it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's see. The mimic stamp that just looks like a regular stamp?
It's a mimic, and they're all the same. They're just one stamp. It's just they're all yeah. The thing is, no one would know what that is. The thing is, they have to appeal to everyone. So, That's right.
I guess that
Any of
makes
these,
sense.
you know,
That's why they
any
have
of
to
these,
pick things that are immediately recognizable, even if you're not
True.
into it, I guess.
keep in mind, any of them could be a mimic. But it does say D&D, D&D USA. It does not say a D&D or Dungeons and Dragons, just D&D. So look for those. I actually went to the website. By the way, it's so funny. This is, does this bother anyone when they do this? The stamp release marks the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons, described by its owners as, quote, the world's greatest role-playing game.
We talked about that last week.
I know.
How everybody always says that, and like, it's not just Wizards and it's not just D&D. Everybody talks themselves up like that. And it's not my cup of tea, but I get that everybody does it.
I know, but that's the official press release.
I was going to say, I feel like with D&D these days, like there was a period where even a lot of third-party people would say that, like compatible with, and they would say like the world's greatest role-playing game or whatever, because they couldn't say
legally
D&D or whatever.
Yes, legally.
But I feel like a lot of people have switched to like the world's first role-playing game or something.
Yes,
or 5e,
like the oldest.
Yes.
Yeah, or just 5e.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
The oldest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the oldest I've seen too. Yeah, that legally. Good thing 5e came along because I have to do that too. So everything of mine just has the 5e stamp on it, and
yep,
it works. It's the next best thing.
You can see it on the bottom right now of this street. There's a little 5e thing that's there.
Right. Look at that. It's 5e and Foundry and Path Builder and Pathfinder.